Hello everyone, how's it going? Hope you're having a wonderful night. So Resistance, for those who don't know, Insomniac Games has been around for a very long time. They're an extremely beloved studio. They made incredible games like Ratchet and Clank, Marvel Spider-Man, but a lesser known franchise because this came out all the way on the PS3. Yeah, the PS3 is now considered a classic console, very old, is Resistance. Now Resistance was a sci-fi first-person shooter that was a lot darker than more of Insomniac's, let's say, current game lobby of the time. Like, yeah, they did have Marvel Spider-Man, which kind of got dark in a few elements, but this was a truly dark, dystopian type game. Like, basically, the Earth was invaded by an alien race called the Chimera, where they started infecting humans with a virus called the Chimera virus, turning them into hybrid creatures. It's a lot more layered than that, but essentially World War II never happened, and instead it was the Human Chimera War, and it was this epic sci-fi first-person shooter that was absolutely brilliant. It had incredible multiplayer features and a fantastic cooperative campaign in the way of Resistance 2. And they did try to continue the franchise with Resistance Burning Sky, but unfortunately that flopped very hard. I think a lot of us wanted a sequel to Resistance 3, but Insomniac Games is one of those companies, once they're done with a franchise, that's it. They move on to the next thing, like kind of with Naughty Dog and Sucker Punch. But regardless, this is a very beloved franchise, and a lot of people have been asking for them to remaster these games, or at least bring them to the current generation, because believe it or not, you cannot buy these games on the PlayStation Store despite them being owned by Sony. You can stream Resistance 3 at the moment, and we're going to get into this story as well, but you cannot purchase them. You can't even stream Resistance 1 and 2. They did allow you to get Resistance Retribution, which was a PSP exclusive title, which also is very underappreciated, but you can play that game right now with all the DLC content, which is fantastic. But what I really am annoyed about is that they are bringing Resistance 1 and 2 to PlayStation 5, but only through the streaming technology. Now, you need PlayStation Plus Premium to play these games, which is very expensive, as you can see here. But on top of it, it's just a really obtuse way to bring back these games. Now, these games are starting to get quite expensive. I remember, like, earlier this year, these games were only around $10-12 because they were printed a lot. The first Resistance game was actually a PlayStation 3 launch title, so it's pretty old, and a lot of people bought copies of this game. Like I said, it's an extremely well-known franchise of its time, and it sold quite well. But nevertheless, as time goes forward, these games get more rare, and for that, the price starts to explode. This is a rare example because the Resistance trilogy was an extremely limited release, and a sealed copy will obviously go for a lot of money. But you can see up here, yeah, it's not exactly a cheap game anymore. It's starting to get more expensive. This might go down, but for reference, the average price for these games kind of become $30 to $40 as time treads along. Nevertheless, I think this is a very awful way to honor one of PlayStation's biggest games of the PlayStation 3 era. Like, I had the same issue for a lot of these games. Like, why can't you just outright buy them? Why are they linking them to the streaming service, which I just answered my own question. They want you to pay for the PlayStation Plus Premium service. But the other issue with this is that I have tested this system. It sucks. It really does. Like, Xbox's actually works, at least on the PC side. I've played Halo Infinite using their streaming technology, and it actually works very well on PC. On Xbox, it's hit and miss, but with PlayStation, it is god-awful. Like, it is genuinely awful, because I tried to play God of War Ascension using the PlayStation streaming technology. It had this weird feedback audio noise. It ran worse, the resolution sucked, the frame rate was choppy, and just to test this feature, I actually brought out my PlayStation 3. In fact, I brought out my PlayStation 3, and I decided to put in my hard copy of God of War Ascension. It ran superior. It was better in every way. Sound quality, resolution, frame rate. And it really annoys the hell out of me that they're doing crap like this. I will gladly pay, like, let's say $20 for each one of these games because I think they're worth it. And I will, just let me download it. Like, I will gladly give you money. Just let me download the game. I don't want to have to stream this crap. Like, even if I have to pay for PlayStation Plus Premium, at least give me the option to just download the game. Like, give me the option. I don't get why I don't get that option anymore to just download the game so I don't have to, deal with all those issues that I stated. Not to mention, as I stated, people have been asking for a trilogy remaster of these games forever. Like, give it to Bluepoint and say, hey, can you remaster this? Granted, I don't think they're going to remaster the multiplayer if they do that, because regardless, it's just like an issue with that stuff. But also, I would like the multiplayer remastered, because specifically with Resistance 2, there's an entirely separate array of missions that are exclusive to the cooperative game, and it's actually a really fun mode. Like, it was absolutely incredible, and considering that online services were free during the PlayStation 3 era, it was one of the most profound experiences I ever had. That and Uncharted 2. Like, Uncharted 2 and Resistance 2 were like absolute heyday, that generation multiplayer experience. It's like what Halo 2 was for PlayStation owners, I would argue. If you played it during that time and you're old like me, you understand. Regardless, I really think this is a huge insult to the franchise. Like, just allow us to either buy the games or allow us to download the games for the bare minimum, because I don't think anyone I've talked to has had a good experience with this streaming technology. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people have, but every person I've talked to about this have said they have nothing but horrible experiences with the PlayStation streaming tech. So tell me what you think in the comments below. I really just want a remaster. I will pay $60 for a remaster of these 3 games. I think they're worth it, and it's just a shame that Resistance isn't getting the treatment that it deserves. So tell me what you think in the comments below. This was like, I don't know, dire knows. This is just something that really, really hits me hard, because I love this franchise and I think it deserves better. But that's it for me. I'll stop rambling. Goodbye.